Hey guys, it's DJ. Welcome back to the channel. If it's your first time here, welcome. In today's video, we're going to be doing something new and fresh, and that is a mock audition. A few days ago, I put out an email blast asking for volunteers to submit for a fake audition. And this, you can see the script right here. This is an AI-generated script for Rocket Mortgage, and I wanted to get about 10 people to submit their best take, focusing on the pre-life. And hopefully by the end of this video, you can understand a few things that will help you, one, feel less stressed about your auditions, and two, let you know some things that you should be paying attention to in terms of like technical stuff, like recording, and also in your performance as well. And then, hopefully give you a bit of confidence in saying, okay, that's kind of how I would read it too. And your read may sound similar to some of the reads in here. So why don't you do this? Why don't you pause the video right here? Pause the video, record your best take. And I really encourage you to think about a pre-life, okay? If you don't know what a pre-life is, I have videos on my channel that talk about it. I'll link one in the description below. Really, get your pre-life going and give your best take. And then compare your take to the takes that we hear in here. And hopefully by you hearing some of the feedback that I give these submissions, it can help you inform your decisions better in the future. Or maybe your read is just, fucking amazing. You're like, oh shit, I nailed it. I knocked it out of the park. That's even better. But basically, I hope you guys learned something from this video. And again, this is something I wish I had when I got started. If you would like to participate in something like this, like I said, it's brand new for me on this channel. I'll put a link in the description. I created a page where you can go there and just put your email in and sign up. That way you can be alerted when I do something like this, or if there's some new content that I'm putting out and need volunteers for something, I'll be able to reach you that way. And if this is something that you would like to work with me on, like one-on-one, you can always book a coaching session, or if you want to use what I call DJ's VO sounding board, trademarked by the way, you can actually send me your audio like this, and I will send you video feedback like I'm doing here. Like this is literally what you would get. And the people that have already used the service found it very, very helpful. And I think one person said it feels like I'm coaching them, even though it's just a pre-recorded video. So I think that they get value from it, and hopefully you would too. With that out the way, let's talk about some things you should know when you submit auditions. When you receive an audition, be it from your agent or manager, from a pay-to-play like voices.com or Voice123, or just through direct email marketing or production rosters, whatever, right? When you get that audition, it's going to have directions. Please, please, please read the directions, guys. All right, I'm not trying to be an asshole here, but you have to understand that there are a lot of people submitting auditions. And when we hear these auditions, you're like, wow, a lot of those sound similar. There are so many people who sound similar that if you were to mess up, either you recorded in the wrong format, or you didn't normalize your audio, or you mislabeled your audio, or you just completely did what the hell you wanted to do with complete disregard to the directions, it's very easy to take you out of the running. And because why would I want this person who doesn't follow directions when I can just go with somebody who did? Please, guys, please follow the directions. If they ask for MP3, give them MP3. Don't give them WAV. If they ask for mono, which they always will, give them mono. Mono, it means it has one audio track. You can see here, there's one green line. But if I were to change this into stereo, if your audio looks like this, that's wrong. That's called stereo. It needs to be in mono, which is this here, okay? So that's really, really important. Also, make sure you're normalizing to -3 dB. This is -3 dB. This is -3 dB. You want to make sure that your highest peak here meets this line, and that your highest peak down here meets this line, or is one of them will not touch in most cases. But you don't want your audio to look like this because it's not at -3 dB, and you don't want your audio to look like that. All right, that's please follow the directions on the casting, okay? And then as a final note, when we talk about things that are important for the people who are doing these castings, make sure that if they ask you to be conversational but not announcer-y, that you don't sound announcer-y. I know that's easier said than done. Many people, if you don't have any training, not sounding announcer-y, it's hard. But hopefully this video will give you some insight on how not to sound announcer-y. And it all starts with the pre-life. okay, which we'll talk about also. Lastly, I know I said that was the last one, but this is the last one. Really pay attention today in how these reads sound. Almost all of them will sound similar. And this is giving you some insight into the casting process when you're like, why didn't I get chosen? My audition was great. And if you're submitting on voices.com, where you have hundreds, like 100 or 200 people submitting for a project, or if you're going through an agent, especially for like a coastal agent, like in LA or New York, you literally have thousands of people submitting. Thousands of people who sound just like you. Okay, you're not as unique as you think you are. So this will give you some insight and like, wow, okay, if that's everybody sounds similar, then it becomes very clear to see how difficult it can be for a client or casting director to choose somebody. And if you don't follow the technical directions about how to normalize your audio to -3 dB, if you don't record in mono and instead you record in stereo, you can see like they're not going to waste their time. They can just take you out and whittle the list down by however many that is, a few hundred. Okay. I can't impress that enough upon you. Really, really, really pay attention to that stuff. Okay. All right. I know that was like boring and you probably didn't want to hear about that. So let's jump into the audio. This is the first audition. The direction says conversational, real, grounded, not annoucer-y. This is really important right here, this not annoucer-y part. Okay. You'll see this so many times. You'll also see conversational a lot, which can be a trap, especially for newer voice actors. So please pay attention to my feedback on these auditions. 15 seconds. If they give you a duration of 15 seconds or 30 seconds or 25 seconds, whatever it is, you must be within that time. Okay. Now, dead space is one thing, but if your speaking speed is too slow that you can't get under 15 seconds, you just got to figure it out. Okay. I'm sorry, I tried, but it only get to 17. Well, you're out. Okay. We got somebody who can do 15. Why would we choose you? So if whatever the duration they give you, make sure you fit your time within there. Like I said, dead space, like just like spaces like these, that's fine. Okay. But you still want to try to get it down to under 15. I can see right now, this one is too long. It's 16 and a half. So this would be dinged right off. What is this? Is this a slate? Okay. So it's not a slate. So they would ding this right off the top. Okay. Now, if they really, really like your read, they may give you a little wiggle room. But if you're like 19 seconds, they're like, no thanks. But yeah, so the script is pretty simple. It says, we were stressed. We thought owning a home was out of reach. But Rocket Mortgage answered all of our questions, made the process clear and shockingly simple. Before we knew it, we were holding the keys to our new home and felt a bit like heroes in our own story. Each person that submitted gave me their pre-life. They summarized their pre-life in a few sentences, so I got an idea of what world they built for themselves. And a pre-life should inform your decision-making when you read, and it should also help you land that first line. The first line is so important. So important. If there's one thing you take away from this video, is that you need a pre-life because you need that first line to land. And what that means is the first line, the first sentence rather, is always a response to something else that happened. Either somebody said something to you, you saw something happen, you had an internal monologue, thought pop in your head, something happened that made you say the very first sentence. The biggest mistake you can make is not building a pre-life for yourself, going into the audition, trying to be the first person to submit, and then you just like, we were stressed. You just go into it like, no. And so I'm going to be judging every take based on how well that first line landed, in my opinion. And again, I'm not a casting director. I'm just DJ Dykes voice actor, but I think that I have a pretty good ear for commercial voiceover at this point. Otherwise, I wouldn't be where I am in my career. So you guys also at home, make sure you keep your ears perked up so you can hear what's going on. All right, let's go through this first take here.
We were stressed. We thought owning a home was out of reach. But Rocket Mortgage answered all of our questions, made the process clear and shockingly simple. Before we knew it, we were holding the keys to our new home and felt a bit like heroes in our own story.
That first line, what do you think about that first line? Listen to it.
We were stressed. We were stressed.
Does it sound like a response to something? I think that it does. I think that it does sound like a response to something.
We were stressed.
I can see that happening. Matter of fact, if I look at his pre-life, he said, me and my twin sister fell on tough times after finishing college and collecting student loan debt. Our mother fell sick. We needed a bigger home to move in together to provide for her. We went through several mortgage companies, and they all denied us because of credit history until we found Rocket Mortgage. That's his pre-life. I think that this pre-life is a good start. It gives me kind of the conflict of what's happening, right? The what is the scene? I don't know about a where. The where is going to help inform your decision about projection. Okay, because you talking on the couch at home is going to sound different than you if you're talking at Whole Foods or if you're talking in a football stadium. What I don't know is what happened to make him say what he said. And I'm just going to play the other side here. I don't know what his pre-life is specifically, but if I were to play the other side, I might say something like, hey man, congrats on the new home. Like that's a huge accomplishment. And you get your sister and your mom living together, so y'all kind of sharing the house together. Congrats. He's like, hey man, thanks. It was a long time coming. Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. I know you're stressed about that, like the credit, because your credit checks and stuff, you weren't able to get the mortgage, but yeah, finally got one. Like how that whole process must have been super stressful for you, man. How'd you feel about that? And he says,
We were stressed.
We were stressed. I don't know. Hearing it in my context, it sounds a bit awkward, but it does still sound like a response. Again, I don't know what exactly he thought happened before to make him say that, but it does sound kind of like dropped in, which is good.
We thought owning a home was out of reach.
Here it gets a bit announcey. Or rather, I'm not going to say announcey. I'm going to say performative. You know?
We thought owning a home was out of reach.
We thought owning a home was out of reach. And I'm not mocking him. I'm just saying, like, this happens because the where is not clear. All right? Think about it.
We thought owning a home was out of reach.
I can't imagine having this conversation with him on a couch or at a kitchen table or even standing up, I don't know. I'm trying to imagine. So I question this decision
here. We thought
here.
owning a home was out of reach.
It doesn't sound terrible. It just sounds like it's too performative. Too performative is the best way I'd say it.
But Rocket Mortgage answered all of our questions.
It's nice. He got the turn, right? So he had this negative, and then he turned it to the positive. The hero was introduced, Rocket Mortgage, right?
But Rocket Mortgage answered all of our questions.
And I like this. Answered all of our questions, went up.
Made the process clear and shockingly simple.
Made the process clear and shockingly simple. You gotta be careful with these adverbs. Shockingly, easy. These kind of, that's an adjective, but you have to be careful with these. You don't want to push them too hard because then it starts leaning into the announcer. Like shockingly simple. Like hey kids, you got to try this new candy. It's shockingly delicious. Like it sounds too announcery. So I would just dial that back a little bit.
And shockingly.
And kind of shrug it off. When you get something like this, just shrug it off. And shockingly simple. Like, oh yeah, damn. Shockingly simple. Something like that. But this is actually a nice trio.
Rocket Mortgage answered all of our questions, made the process clear and shockingly simple.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. That was good.
Before we knew it, we were holding the keys to our new home.
Yeah. And it's so conversational, We did this, we did this. It was easy. And before we knew, we did this. That was very good. That was a very good read.
Our new home. And felt a bit like heroes in our own story.
And then I think he dropped the ball right at the 5-yard line. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I think the last part just kind of leaned into the announcer part. So if I had to make 2 changes to this audition, one would be...
We thought owning a home...
Be very clear about where you're having this conversation. And I think that'll make this land better. And then here...
And felt a bit like...
This is kind of like a nose scrunch. Like, yeah, we kind of felt like, heroes in our own story. Like a little chuckle or a little side quip that you threw out there, right? So yeah, play with that line a little bit. Be playful with it. It sounds like you're...
And felt a bit
like heroes in our own story. Like it's a bit announcery. Overall, I think this is a pretty good audition. I think it's competitive. I don't think it would book, but I can't see it like being balled up and thrown away, if that makes sense. Let's take a look at the second one. All right, so I'm looking here. Everything's normalized to -3. We are under 15 seconds, which is good. This is just a a picky note, like really picky. These peaks here, I would still reduce these like manually because it's only a 15-second commercial, right? And so you have time to reduce these peaks, just so it's not so loud on the peaks and then quiet. And I don't use compressors on my auditions, but that's what I would do. So let's take a listen.
We were stressed.
Hold on a second.
We were stressed. We thought owning a home was out of reach. But Rocket Mortgage answered all our questions, made the process clear and shockingly simple. Before we knew it, we were holding the keys for our new home and felt a bit like heroes in our own story.
Let's take a look at that first line.
We were stressed.
There. That's very good. That sounds exactly like a natural response to something. Dude, that must have been like a crazy situation trying to get that mortgage done in like 3 days, like getting a home loan in 3 days. Hey, how'd you feel about that?
We were stressed.
Yeah, I bet you were. Like, it's a clear response to something. Very good.
We thought owning a home was out of reach. Out of reach. Thought owning a home was out of reach.
I'm going to say this, but I don't know how he speaks normally, so I can't say for sure, but that sounded a bit performative.
A home was out of...
It's these kind of things like the chuckles, like, and then we just did all of that, that kind of thing. And, we felt a little bit like heroes in our own story. Or these manual changes affecting our voice, we have to be careful with them. If this was natural for you, hey, I digress. But I don't think it was. I think it was an intentional decision to make that sound.
Thought owning a home was out of reach.
It doesn't sound bad, though. It just sounds a bit performative. But still. Because the thing is, I feel like if it's too performative, then it pulls you out of that kind of grounded, real sound. You know what I mean? It sounds more, I don't say announcer, it just sounds like a commercial as opposed to a real conversation. And in this audition, having the real conversation is important.
Thought owning a home was out of reach, but Rocket Mortgage...
Got to be careful with the brand names, guys. Generally speaking, when you see the product name or the company name, yes, you do want to give it some love the first time it's mentioned. But there's a fine line between like billboarding the name so it stands out from the rest of the copy and gives the listener time to process who that is or what the business name is. That fine line can easily go into annoucer-y when you add too much sparkle to the name. And so I feel like you add a bit too much pizzazz on this one.
But Rocket Mortgage,
because it doesn't gel well here.
We thought owning a home was out of reach. But Rocket Mortgage, I would just tone it down a little bit, man. Like owning a home was out of reach.
We thought owning a home was out of reach. But Rocket Mortgage, just instead of Rocket Mortgage, just Rocket Mortgage, but Rocket Mortgage. And that would sound a bit better.
Answered all our questions.
Yeah. Words like all, none, easy, fast, quick, a newbie mistake. I can't say newbie mistake because I still know seasoned actors who come from like radio backgrounds that still make this error in commercial. When we push those words, hey guys, you got to try this new process. It's easy. You can get your new card fast. You can come in quick and get out quicker. Like we hit these words like this, and this is all our questions. We have to be very careful with how much we push the words. And in this particular case, I'm not saying don't make all stand out. Just say he answered all of our questions. How would you say it in a real conversation, guys? Honestly, think about it. If you're with your friend and you guys are having a coffee, man, I'm still hungry, dude. I can eat all of this. But if I tell my daughter, do all your homework, she's like, all of it? I'm like, yeah, all of it. All of your homework. Don't just do some of your homework, all of your homework. I'm not going to say, hey, baby, do your homework. She's like, all of it? Yeah, all of it. I'm not going to push it like that. So hopefully you guys can hear that difference.
Questions. Made the process clear and shockingly simple.
Again, the shockingly is a trap. That's why I put it in there. AI put it there, but I left it in there. The shockingly, these adverb like this, it's very difficult, very easy to push them Too much.
Shockingly.
Yeah, shockingly simple. Shockingly. We gotta same thing with the easy. We just gotta dial that back a bit.
Made the process clear and shockingly simple.
So I'd say that this section here was a bit announcer-y.
Before we knew it, we were holding the keys for our new home.
Before we knew we were holding the keys to our new home.
And felt a bit like heroes in our own story.
Yeah. This whole section here is announcer-y. However, even though my specs say not announcer-y, that's why I'm pointing it out. Because the specs that I put there say not announcer-y. I don't think it's a bad take, though. I do think that if they didn't say not announcer-y and it just said conversational, real, and friendly, then this whole read works. I don't know if it would book, but it would be within the specs. Does that make sense? But because I said not announcer-y, this section here is too polished, too pushed. And that's why this audition wouldn't work. But again, if the not announcer-y wasn't there and it was just conversational, friendly, and upbeat, this is a great take, man. This is a great take. And I'm only 2 auditions in. I probably need to speed this up. But that first line was chef's kiss.
We were stressed.
Ooh, we were stressed. Man, that was great. I like that. All right, next one. Okay. Normalized perfectly. All right. Let's take a listen. Oh, whoa. This one is over by 1.5 seconds. I mean, I guess you could shave some time here, but you got to be careful, guys. If they say 15 seconds, you got to be at 14.8 or at least, 15. But 14.8 is ideal. Okay. Let's see.
We were stressed. We thought owning a home was out of reach. But Rocket Mortgage answered all of our questions and made the process clear and shockingly simple. Before we knew it, we were holding the keys to our new home and felt a bit like heroes in our own story.
Before I say anything, what do you think? Again, overall, the take is good. I'm not saying it's a perfect take. It's not. I don't think that a perfect take exists because it's so subjective. But based on the specs, and I'm the one making the calls here, I don't think it's a bad take. I think it's a good take, but it is very announcer-y. I'm giving grace here because this first line.
We were stressed.
I was so hopeful. That was a great first line. Again, I don't know how this person interacts or communicates on a regular basis. So I can't say, oh, he's too up or he's too big or he's too announcer in that first line. Because it does sound like a response to something. And maybe he's just that chipper on a regular basis. So.
We were stressed.
Yeah, and it does have a bit of polish on it. A bit of commercial polish on it.
We were stressed.
What was the pre-life here? So his pre-life says, one goal of mine is always wanted to be a homeowner. I've never been able to. So I was basically going off my experience, being disappointed that I have not been able to own a home. When I got to end, I tried to put myself in the position of what it would feel like to finally purchase a home. Okay. The more specific you are about who you're talking to, it's my sister, my younger sister who's not good with money, my older sister who is a homeowner and I'm trying to vent that I can't buy a home. That who has to be so specific. And then why are you saying what you're saying? It's 2 parts. One is what is the scene you built for yourself? And he's kind of built the scene here. He's always wanted to own a home, has never been able to. So he's trying to imagine what it would be like to own one. That's his general scene. We're missing some pieces there, but it's okay. The second part of that is what happened to make you say what you said. Okay. And so what I don't hear in the pre-life, what I don't see in the pre-life is the who are you talking to? Without a clear who you're talking to and what that person said to make you say what you're saying, it's going to sound announcer-y. And this one does have an announcer polish to it.
We were stressed.
Okay. But it's not terrible. It's just, I can hear the announcer polish.
We thought owning a home was out of reach.
Yeah. This is one notey.
We were stressed.
Do.
Owning a home was out of reach.
We were stressed. Out of reach. Out of stress. Or
stressed. We were stressed. Out of reach. We were stressed. Out of reach.
Yeah, it's a bit one notey, which makes me think that you were approaching the lines independently of each other. Sometimes we record an audition and then we'll go back and record a section of the audition, like one line, and plug it in, and that's fine. But we have to be careful because in normal conversations, we typically don't speak on the same note over and over again, especially if it's an emotional topic. Like, fuck, I can't buy a house, man. I can't get my fucking house. Like, that's emotional. You know, I was stressed, man. You know, and I thought I would never be a homeowner. And so there's natural changes in the way we enunciate the words. So that kind of caught my ear there. They kind of sound very similar.
Mortgage answered all of our questions and made the process clear and shockingly simple.
I'm laughing because everybody's getting hit by that shockingly.
And shockingly simple.
And shockingly simple. Like, everybody's pushing it. So it's not just you, man.
But Rocket Mortgage answered all of our...
And I like the turn. You know, I like the turn. I like the love that you gave Rocket Mortgage. It made it stick out really nicely.
Answered all of our questions.
Answered all of our questions.
And made the process clear.
Yeah, it sounds like you got a weird cut there.
And made the process clear and shockingly simple.
And shockingly simple. Yeah, that's a bit announced-y. And shockingly simple. And shockingly
simple.
And shockingly simple. Yeah, I would be careful about that.
Before we knew it, we were holding the keys to our new home.
And this is what I really wanted to point this part out. This is called a flourish. Maybe people call it different things, but I call it a flourish. I learned it from my my promo coach. These words when we're talking about like home, you know, in a world, one man, and the end. Those sounds at the end of the words are what we call flourishes. And it's really big in like radio. It's really big in trailer. Not so much in promo these days, but older promos, it was a big thing. In commercial, it's almost always a no-no. It's almost always a no-no. It's pure announcer-y. It's pure announcer-y. And so if you're a type of person who finds yourself trying to, I say you're like in love with your voice, because that's what it sounds like. We were so happy about buying our new home. You got to be careful about that.
To our new home. We were holding the keys to our new home.
Because I can't imagine you talking to anybody that you know in your real life and adding flourishes like that. I'm just trying to, I don't know you, but normal people don't talk like that. And I'm not saying you're a weirdo. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, in this read, it doesn't sound like what you would sound like on a regular basis, talking to a spouse or a friend. And we were holding the keys to our new home. To our new home. To our new home. Yeah, it would be a bit shorter.
And felt a bit like heroes in our own story.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. That line doesn't do it for me at all. Yeah. Overall, I think that the intention was there. You actually had a pretty decent pre-life, which is why I think the first line sounded pretty good.
We were stressed.
And you tried to imagine what it would be like to be a homeowner.
The keys to our new home. And felt a bit like heroes in our own story.
It's not wrong to imagine the scene. That's what we want to do. But the scene, Sanford Meisner, acting is behaving absolutely truthfully under the imaginary circumstance. You've given us the imaginary circumstance. It's you imagining that you're a homeowner. You finally bought your home. What does the real you do if that was a situation? I can't imagine. And felt a bit like heroes in our own story. I can't imagine that's what you would do. And I'm not doing this to make fun of your read or to mock your sound. I'm just trying to draw your attention to that. Like, be very careful in commercial auditions to sound character-y. And that's what I'm hearing there. So overall, not a bad take, but I think there's some area for improvement. And the biggest one would be to really be talking to somebody. Be talking to somebody, and that will take you away from the announcer sound. All right, let's check the next one out.
We were stressed. We thought owning a home...
Oops, I forgot to check. So, everything is normalized. Yep. Yeah. Well, it's a little bit... This is fine. It's fine. And timing is perfect. Thank you so much for putting the timing perfect. I like that. Let's take a listen.
We were stressed. We thought owning a home was out of reach. But Rocket Mortgage answered all of our questions, made the process clear and shockingly simple. Before we knew it, we were holding the keys to our new home and felt a bit like heroes in our own story.
Oh, Oh, man, so close. It was so close to being a perfect read. Oh, man, it was so... Dude, I'm sorry. Until now, and no shade at the first three, but this was probably the best one yet. I haven't listened to the others, so I don't know for sure, but... Dude, you hear how even the first two lines... We'll talk about her pre-life in a second, but...
We were stressed. We thought owning a home was out of reach.
Yo, that is so good.
We were stressed.
Dude, we were stressed.
We thought owning
a home was out of reach.
a home was out of reach.
I can hear the I don't want to say desperation, the frustration and the urgency. I can hear it. Let me take a look at the pre-life. Yo, I'm sorry. I'm a bit shocked because that was a good read. Hold on now. Let me see where we're at. So pre-life. Okay, so basically they had good credit. They wanted to buy a house. They thought it'd be easy because the credit was good, had good income. Wrong. Basically, the lender couldn't give them the mortgage for reasons. I'm not going to throw them out here now. But they tried a new one called Rocket Mortgage, and that mortgage company went the extra mile. Contacted the places that need to be contacted, got everything cleared up, and closed right on time. This is good because her pre-life was so detailed. This read sounded so good. I didn't read the pre-life until after I heard this. And now that I hear the read the pre-life.
We were stressed.
The only thing I'm missing is, I'm in my head, okay. So she says, So she was talking to the representative, the bank representative. So that's who she's talking to. That can work. I'm guessing if you go to buy a house, you have some rapport established with that person across the counter. But man, I'm sorry, guys. I'm gushing a little bit because...
we were stressed. We thought owning a home was out of reach.
Dude, if I was a casting director and I heard that, she's immediately getting shortlisted. Like, that's all I need to hear.
But Rocket Mortgage?
And you hear that? But Rocket Mortgage, she billboarded it without adding all the extra glitter and stuff. But Rocket Mortgage, it wasn't like that. It was, but Rocket Mortgage, and gave a little bit of a beat there to let it settle.
Answered all of our questions.
Answered all of our questions. You can hear the surprise and satisfaction. Answered all of our questions.
Made the process clear and shockingly simple.
And she is the first person to hit this section damn near perfectly.
Made the process clear and shockingly simple.
This is the definition of real and grounded. When you see grounded, that's what it sounds like. This whole first section is grounded. Grounded means I can imagine this happening in real life. It's grounded. It's on the ground. It's not up in an imaginary world.
We were stressed. We thought owning a home was out of reach. But Rocket Mortgage answered all of our questions, made the process clear and shockingly simple. Before we knew it, we were holding the keys to our new home.
Why you do this to me? Why'd you do it? No, you hit. Okay, that was an awkward emphasis on our. Whenever we hit, this is a good example of how to break down a script. Whenever we hit words like this, our, and let's look at the script together. Before we knew it, we were holding the keys to our new home. We can hit any of these words in this sentence here, and it would sound different. Before we knew it, we were holding the keys to our new home. Or before we knew it, we were holding the keys to our new home. Before we knew it, we were holding the keys to our new home. Before we knew it, we were holding the keys to our new home. Like, you can hit any word in there and it changes the intention, the meaning of that sentence. But by hitting our, it would, the only time I would hit our is if I was comparing to somebody else. It's not their new home, it's our new home. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I was just like, oh.
To our new home.
To our new home. I would just say.
We were holding the keys to
our new home. Like, I would just let it be straight and grounded, man. Ugh. It was so close to being perfect.
Before we knew it, we were holding the keys to our new home and felt a bit like heroes in our own story.
Yeah, and that little...
Felt a bit...
I don't know how she talks on a regular when she says something like that.
And felt a bit like heroes in our own story.
But I can see. And she says she's talking to the Chase representative.
And felt a bit like heroes in our own story.
The only change I would say here.
Like heroes in our...
Right there. And I don't know if it looks like it was a weird cut there. But I would...
in our
like heroes in our own, like over enunciating that section, I would just let that roll out because it's almost like an afterthought. If you think about how the script is structured, before we knew it, we were holding the keys to our new home. That could be the end of the script right there. Oh, by the way, P.S., before we knew it, we were holding the keys to our new home and felt a bit like heroes in our own story. Like it's that kind of vibe. At least that's how I interpret it. So I felt like this sentence, because it is almost a throwaway or an afterthought, we don't need to give it as much enunciation or I don't know how else to say it, but like right here,
in our own.
felt like heroes in our own story. I wouldn't do that. But girl, I'm sorry. Yo, oh man.
We were stressed.
God, that's such a good read. That's such a good read. I would shortlist you. If I was a casting director and this was the real, I would shortlist you. You'd be at the top of my list. All right, let me move on to the next one before I, wait, sorry. I want to get back to this.
All of our questions. Simple.
She did this thing where many people want to get a list of 3. And if you take a look at the script, answered all of our questions, made the process clear, and shockingly simple. You can say this in a number of different ways. Answered all of our questions, made the process clear, and shockingly simple. Answered all of our questions, made the process clear, and shockingly simple. When we are trying to, well, not we trying, her story let her do it, but she's so grounded.
We were stressed. We thought
everything was just da-da-da, and this and that, we were stressed, and this happened, but it worked out. You hear that? But it worked out. That's how we would talk on a regular. I was stressed, man. They kept checking my credit. I kept getting failed. The bank wouldn't give me the money. But then finally, we waited 3 days, and everything got settled. That's how we would talk. And that's exactly how she did it here.
Answered all of our questions, made the process clear and shockingly simple.
There it is, and shockingly simple. It wasn't, and shockingly simple, because that would be announcing-y. She just said, yeah, and shockingly simple. Just throw it away. Perfect read. Oh, well, no. Almost perfect read. All right, next one. Hey, you didn't normalize, man. I took the names off, so I don't know who this is, but you got to normalize to -3 dB, okay? And timing looks good. Let's take a listen.
We were stressed. We thought owning a home was out of reach. But Rocket Mortgage answered all of our questions, made the process clear and shockingly simple. Before we knew it, we were holding the keys to our new home and felt a bit like heroes in our own story.
Okay, that's the second person to hit our. I'm curious now. What's the process here? Before I look at the pre-life, let me take a listen to that first. So I'll just do the first 2 sentences there.
We were stressed. We thought owning a home was out of reach.
Let me tighten it up. Maybe that'll make it sound better.
We were stressed. We thought owning a home was out of reach.
Yeah, that makes it sound better. So let's see.
We were stressed. We thought owning a home was out of reach.
That was a very good first. Yeah, very good.
We were stressed. We thought owning a home was out of reach.
You guys hear that? It sounds like a response to somebody saying something to him. Or it just sounds like a response. Something happened before.
We were stressed.
Hey, man, you bought your home last week? Dude, congratulations. How'd the whole process go?
We were stressed. We thought owning a home was out of reach.
Oh, sure. You were stressed. Yeah. Yeah, that works. That works.
But Rocket Mortgage answered all of our questions.
This is another take on this take. But the previous one, she was like, but Rocket Mortgage, she kind of had it subdued. This one gave it a bit of pizzazz, but it wasn't punch you in your face pizzazz. It was just but Rocket Mortgage.
But Rocket Mortgage
answered
all of our questions.
And I can imagine that's probably how he talks on a regular.
But Rocket Mortgage answered all of our questions.
And this is a very tactician way to hit the all. It wasn't answered all of our questions.
All.
But he just gave it a little bit of a love.
But Rocket Mortgage answered all of our questions.
Answered all of our questions. And I think if he had drawn it out more, I would say it was a bit announcing-y, but it's just enough to add flavor to the read.
Made the process clear and shockingly simple. Made the process clear and shockingly simple.
I'll let it go. I'll accept it. That was a good take on the shockingly.
And shockingly simple.
And shockingly simple. And because which one sounds better? The way he says it?
And shockingly simple.
Or and shockingly simple. You hear the difference? And shockingly simple. And shockingly simple. There's a difference. The second one is announcing. The way he does it, while it may come across as announcing on first glance, it's actually not.
And shockingly simple.
Because, that's how we talk. Dude, he made it the loan representative, and she took my card. She made everything easy. It was clear and shockingly simple. Not and shockingly simple. So, yeah, that works. And shockingly simple. Yeah.
Before we knew it, we were holding the keys.
Okay. This one, this is like the only part that really, because you went from sounding like you were talking to somebody.
Before we knew it.
To almost narrating a storybook, if that makes sense. It's like, once upon a time, and at the end, they lived happily ever after. It's kind of the same vibe.
Before we knew it.
Before we knew it, we were, you know what I'm saying? I would keep it grounded, Before we knew it. Before we knew it, just, I think it's projection.
Before we knew it.
You can see how big this is compared to everything else. But, volume is not going to change that, but like.
Before we knew it.
Like, it was just pushed too much. I would pull it back and just dial the energy back up like 2 notches, and that would have been perfect there.
We were holding the keys to our new home.
I don't know. I hate the word "our" being hit there because it doesn't make sense grammatically. Because we're not comparing ourselves to anybody in this script. So yeah, I had to ding you on that one.
And felt a bit like heroes in our own story.
Yo, there you go. He has the shrug. It's like the afterthought, and felt a bit like heroes in our own story. And he went down. Not down like story, but like, and felt a bit like heroes in our own story. It's a nice close. It gives a very punctuated end to the script as opposed to, and felt a bit like heroes in our own story. That could be something somebody might do. I'm not saying this is the right way, but in the context of his read, it makes sense to put it that way. All right. I think this is actually a really good read. I really love that first 2 lines.
We were stressed. We thought owning a home was out of reach.
Yeah. It was stress. We thought it was out of reach. You can hear the urgency. We thought it was out of reach. But Rocket Mortgage. Yeah, that was really good. Next one. Come on, guys. Y'all got to normalize these things, man. I feel what the agents feel now. The frustration of getting hundreds of auditions and none of them were normalized. I see why they gripe at us all the time about it. All right. Wow. That's literally okay. That's fine.
We were stressed. We thought owning a home was out of reach. But Rocket Mortgage answered all of our questions, made the process clear and shockingly simple. Before we knew it, we were holding the keys to our new home. And felt a bit like heroes in our own story.
I like this read. I do.
We were stressed. We thought owning a home was out of reach.
I think the pause was a bit theatrical, but like I can tell from his read, from his voice, that he kind of has, I don't want to say monotone, but he has a very flat sound. And because of that, a person with a flat sound who sees the spec conversational may fall into the trap of trying to artificially add peaks and valleys in the read. And if you do that, you will sound announcing. Remember, real, right? Real and grounded. And what does Sanford Meisner say? Behaving absolutely truthfully. Be you, always. When you're doing your commercial reads, you always have to be yourself. And if yourself is a flatter read, lean into that and make those little changes, the little peaks or valleys, they stand out more when everything surrounding them is flat and you add just a little nudge up or a little dip down. It hits better. You know what I'm saying? So
we were stressed.
We
thought owning a home was out of reach.
He has that nice little shrug, like that shrug, like, yeah, that was in the past, I had that happen, but now that I think about it, yeah, we were stressed. You can hear it. You can hear the shrug.
We were stressed.
It sounds like a clear response to somebody. Let me check out his pre-life and see what his pre-life is on this one. He says, I was opening up to my friend, a close friend, talking about the stress of finding a home, and he asked my experience and what my family and I did to succeed in getting the home that I'm in now. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that works. A friend asked you, Oh, so you got your new home. Like, dude, like how'd that whole process go? Like, was it easy or did you get stressed at all like during that process?
We were stressed.
Yeah?
We thought owning a home was out of reach.
Yeah, dude, I can imagine.
But Rocket Mortgage answered all of our questions, made the process clear and shockingly simple.
Rocket Mortgage, huh? Damn, dude.
Before we knew it, we were holding the keys to our new home.
Damn.
It felt a bit like heroes in our own story.
Yeah, I don't know. This whole section was perfect to me. It was perfect to me. The last part, I was looking for that kind of like a afterthought. You know, it's like just throw it away a little bit more. Yeah, it felt a bit like heroes in our own story. Yeah, that was actually a really good read. You guys are killing it, man. And this is not to throw shade at the first three. I'm not saying that y'all they gave bad takes. I told you those were good takes. But again, I really am focusing on the pre-life and how that first line lands. And my God, you guys are really just woo. All right, next one. What in the Come on, man. You got to normalize -3, not -1. All right. And just looking at this audition, wait, hold on.
Owning a home was out of...
Okay, so this wasn't recorded in a professional studio thing, and that's fine. All right, I'm not judging audio quality here. So let's just throw that out, throw that by the wayside and just keep going.
We were stressed. We thought owning a home was out of reach. But Rocket Mortgage answered all of our questions, made the process clear and shockingly simple. Before we knew it, we were holding the keys to our new home and felt a bit like heroes in our own story.
Okay, so I think this one is, you're not a native English speaker, which is fine. Let me just check the pre-life here before I give feedback. Let's see. For pre-life, I tried to imagine that I'm a husband, father of 2, struggling to find a home until Rocket Mortgage helped him and his family. Oh, and he says, I'm very new to voiceover, don't know how to practice or record properly, but I'm excited to try something new. Well, shout out to you, man, and props for even putting yourself out there. It is not easy to record yourself and let the world hear you. So you've already crossed the bridge that many people are scared to even begin to think about crossing. So since you were kind enough and brave enough to put yourself out here, I'm going to be real enough and give you just direct feedback. The read sounds ready. It sounds like you're reading. And that's fine because I don't know, maybe because the English is not the first language. But just take that off to the side. When I say somebody sounds ready, what I mean to say is it literally sounds like you're looking at the words while you're saying what you're saying, which means, and I know we are. we are looking at the words while we're reading, but it's a skill. You cannot sound like you're looking at the words when you're reading. But if you focus too much on looking at the words, then you begin to not be in your pre-life, in the scene that you've created for yourself. Okay, but it's because you're new in voiceover, it's to be expected, man. Let me tell you some things you did really well.
We were stressed. We thought owning a home was out of reach.
I love that you knew, you had the instinct to know that when something is not good, that it's not bright. And you were, you were low. You had like the low energy, and I won't say depressed. It was just like, yeah, man, we were stressed and this happened.
But Rocket Mortgage answered all of our questions.
And you made the turn. You made the turn perfectly. So just looking at these two sections here, you demonstrated the ability to instinctually know that this part has to be down here and this part has to be up here. That's great, all right? Especially in commercial, you get to have those instincts. When the name is introduced, give it love, sparkle a little bit. Not too much sparkle, but a little bit.
Rocket Mortgage answered all of our questions, made the process clear.
Yeah, made it clear.
And shockingly simple.
And shockingly simple. Again, you made this mistake again with the shockingly that everybody else I critiqued on. Shockingly simple and shockingly simple. We don't want to do that. Instead of made the thing shockingly simple, just say, made it shockingly simple. Shockingly simple. Yeah, made it shockingly simple. Like it's not an important word, believe it or not, the adverb shockingly. Not in the sense where you want to say shockingly simple or shockingly simple. It's just important that it's almost approach it like this. When you see words like shockingly or easy or all, imagine that the word doesn't even exist. And right before you say the sentence, the word magically appears. And you're like, it's so simple. The job is so simple. The job is so simple. And the shockingly suddenly pops in. The job was shockingly simple. Like, what's that doing here? Shockingly. Why are you here? Yeah, it made it shockingly simple. Like, that's how I like to approach it.
Before we knew it, we're holding the keys to our new home.
Yeah, I like that.
Before we knew it,
we're
holding the keys to our new home.
We were holding the keys to our new home. I would bring this up. Not up like holding the keys to our new home. But
we're holding the keys to our new home.
We're holding the keys to our new home. I think you just lost the energy there. So you want to make sure you keep the energy, the drive, the push, we call it. There's always an energy pushing you through the script to the end. And I think the energy dropped off too early here.
We're holding the keys to our new home.
Yeah. And I know I said that this is an afterthought, so this would technically be the end, but it doesn't sound like an end. We were holding the keys to our new home.
Keys to our new home.
To a new home. Instead, make a choice. You can either say, we were holding the keys to our new home. Down. It's done. Or, we were holding the keys to our new home. We were holding the keys to our new home. And that way, this would land better. But this one was kind of like stuck in the middle. I don't know if that makes sense, what I'm saying. I know it in my ear, what it sounds like.
We're holding the keys to our new home.
We're holding the keys to our new home.
And felt a bit like heroes in our own story.
Maybe it's this one. Maybe this does work by itself. And this one is the issue. This one, yeah. Again, I don't want to critique too hard here because I don't know what the language situation is. But if I just be objective about it, obviously this is not going to book. But if you're a new voice actor and this is what you've submitted, well, damn, dude, you should be practicing more. This is good instincts, man, especially the first couple lines.
We were stressed. We thought owning a home was out of reach.
Yeah. You have what seems to be good instincts. I would continue to practice and improve your craft and see what else you can do. And yeah, very good job. Thank you for submitting. All right, let's take a look at the next one.
We were stressed.
Oops, I forgot. All right, we are not normalized. Oh boy. All right, I'm going to reduce this peak just a little bit so I can bring the rest of it up. And this one too. Sorry, guys. It's a pet peeve of mine. All right, let's continue on.
We were stressed. We thought owning a home was out of reach. But Rocket Mortgage answered all of our questions, made the process clear and shockingly simple. Before we knew it, we were holding the keys to our new home and felt a bit like heroes in our own story. We were stressed.
All right, I'm going to be honest. It was very annoucer-y. And I can't recall exactly whose this is, but it was very annoucer-y.
We were stressed.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know about that first line.
We were stressed.
It doesn't sound like you're talking to somebody. It sounds like you just read the words. Like you got the audition and said, okay, let's see, conversation real grounded, not answer. Okay, here we go. We were stressed. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the vibe I got from that take there. So let me see if you... Oh, okay. Let me see. Let me check to see if there's the pre-life. Here we go. My little brother was telling me how he and his new wife were stressed and felt overwhelmed about buying their first home and getting a mortgage. My wife and I felt the same when we bought our first home and found it wasn't as big, bad, as scary as we thought. Talking to little bro and his wife.
We were stressed. We thought owning a home was out of reach.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know your little brother, and I don't know the age gap. I guess it could work if the little brother was a kid. Because it does have a bit of that, I'm talking to a younger sibling, but the younger sibling is like under the age of 12. Like, I'm imagining that I'm talking to my daughter.
We were stressed.
Daddy, what was it like buying this house? Baby girl, we were stressed. We thought buying a home was out of reach. I can see it that way. It doesn't really work if it's an adult, though.
But Rocket Mortgage answered all of our questions, made the process clear and shockingly simple.
Yeah, very announcer-y. Very annoucer-y. And I'm only judging on the fact is it announcер-y or not the performance. And like again, this read could work. Actually, it's a very good read, except for the fact that not announcer-y is in the specs. But if not annoucer-y wasn't there, well, this is a great read. I think it nails the stereotypical commercial read, where you want to hit words like all and shockingly and simple. You want to hit those, right?
But Rocket Mortgage,
like you want to hit the brand name and billboard it with the glitter.
Answered all of our questions, made the process clear, and shockingly simple.
Yeah.
Before we knew it,
This is what I was talking about. I think it was the first audition or the second one. When we inject artificial sounds, the chuckles, the giggles, the anything that it's not, I can't say it's not natural. I mean, obviously you might do this naturally, but in this context, it sounds forced.
Before we knew it,
like this is what it sounds like.
We were holding the keys to our new home.
I thought this is not bad. We were holding the keys to it. I can hear the enthusiasm.
We were holding the keys to our new home and felt a bit like heroes in our own story.
Got a little bit of a shrug there, the pause for the shrug.
Felt a bit like heroes in our own story.
So overall, I wouldn't shortlist this take strictly based on what I give in the direction, not annoucer-y. If this was not here and I simply said conversational, upbeat, and friendly, if that was the spec, this would work. And as a side note, when you guys receive auditions, first thing I like to do, if it's a new brand or a brand that I know, I will go to YouTube and take a look at what kind of ads they currently have running. Or I'll go to iSpot.tv and see if they have any current spots running. That way I can get a feel for the vibe of the company. In this particular case, I don't know what Rocket Mortgage is, to be honest with you, but I know Zillow. If this was a Zillow spot, this read would not work. Zillow is very real and grounded. Kind of like Airbnb. Airbnb is very real and grounded. But if Rocket Mortgage is the upbeat, enthusiastic, and friendly and bubbly, maybe this read works. So from a performance perspective, I think that it checks all the boxes of what a commercial read should sound like. You know that there's words in the script that get more love than others. We were stressed. We thought owning a home was out of reach. Out of reach gives the emotional situation there, the stakes. I can't get it. It's out of reach. All right. And then there's the turn. But Rocket Mortgage, they did these three things and it was shockingly simple. Right. So I think that it checked all those boxes. But if this was the audition, I would not shortlist it. That's all I have to say about that. Not a bad take, though. All right. Normalized, but we got a peak there, so I'm going to reduce this peak. All right. It's still a bit peaky, but okay, no big deal. Let's go.
We were stressed. We thought owning a home was out of reach. But Rocket Mortgage answered all of our questions, made the process clear and shockingly simple. Before we knew it, we were holding the keys to our new home and felt a bit like heroes in our own story.
That was that was a great take. Huh. Hold on a second now.
We were stressed. We thought owning a home was out of reach.
Okay.
We were stressed.
Okay. I like the turn there. I don't know the pre-life yet. I'm just trying to make a guess here.
We were stressed.
Like it starts out like, dude, like almost like he's containing his frustration. Dude, I asked like, yo, I'm thinking about getting a home. Like, do you remember when you bought yours? What was that like, getting the mortgage and stuff? Because they have to like run my credit and all this other stuff. I'm just like, I don't know what to do. And he says, we were stressed. Yeah, we were stressed. and it's very grounded.
We were stressed.
And he has it contained, and then he's like, you know what, fuck this, and he just lets it out.
We thought owning a home was out of reach.
It works. Dude, we were stressed. Like, we thought owning a home was out of reach. Like, I love that turn. It adds a nice flavor. And if I was a casting director, which I am not, but if I were a casting director, this would get shortlisted just off those 2 lines. It gave me so much in just those 2 lines. So much story there.
We were stressed. We thought owning a home was out of reach.
And it's so subtle. It's so subtle, but it would, think about it, it would sound different if he said, we were stressed. We thought owning a home would be out of reach. Or, we were stressed. We thought owning a home would be out of reach. You see what I'm saying? Like, that juxtaposition there is so keyed in. I don't even know whose this is. Wow. Hold on a second. Okay, I found out who it is. I had to go back and check because I changed the names of all the files. But his pre-life is, I usually make it a point to greet any new people that come into our church. Sometimes we get into conversations about random things, and conversations like that happen often, are typically short and sweet. So it was easy to channel that for the read. Okay, this is actually an interesting thing I want to highlight here. I have 2 videos on my channel, which I consider to be the 2 most important videos on my channel. One talks about pre-life, and one talks about emotional connection. The emotional connection video is the number 1, and then pre-life is number 2, because pre-life requires the emotional connection to work. His spec tells me, not his spec, his pre-life is not a pre-life. Okay? He basically channeled his emotional experience, his emotional connection. He recalled that situation and channeled it into this script. And for a 15-second script, it works. I would question, or I would challenge that it wouldn't work for a 60-second spot or for maybe a corporate narration. It might be a bit more difficult to maintain a good read based strictly on emotional connection. However, it works here. It's very grounded in a reality. He's being himself. His emotion is there. It's just very, very connected and grounded in reality.
But Rocket Mortgage answered all of our questions.
I can imagine that happening. I can imagine that being said to a real person.
Made the process clear and shockingly simple.
A little bit questionable there, again, but I think the shockingly, again, is like a trap. But dude.
But Rocket Mortgage answered all of our questions.
It did? Really? Yeah.
Made the process clear and shockingly simple.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Before we knew it, we were holding the keys to our new home.
Before we knew it, we were holding the keys to our new home. We were holding the keys to our new home.
Before we knew it, we were holding the keys to our new home.
I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about this one. This is number 9.
Keys to our new home.
I think you lost it. I think this section,
Clear and shockingly simple.
that right there, the announcer trap, pulled you out of your emotional connection.
Before we knew it,
And it carried that announcer-y kind of commercially polished read, carried over into this section here.
we were holding the keys to our new home.
And it's the flourish at the end. The keys to our new home. To our new home.
Out of reach.
Because here you didn't do it. Reach.
We're stressed.
Stressed.
Answered all of our questions.
Questions.
Our new home.
Home. I don't know.
And felt a bit like heroes in our own story.
Yeah, but a bit like heroes in our own story. Besides the what I just said here about the announcer thing, the only thing I would change about this audition, if I did a callback and I was like, hey, this is something I want you to change on this and send it back to me, I would say re-record this section and keep it playful and add a bit more of a wink and just throw it away a bit more. Just throw it away. I think you gave it too much time, too much thought.
And felt a bit like heroes in our own story.
And felt a bit like heroes in our own story. As opposed to, and felt a bit like heroes in our own story. Yeah, that's the only change I would make, but goodness gracious. That was an excellent first 2 lines. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Last one. Perfectly normalized. Thank you. All right, let's go. Whoa, hold on. I looked at the time. Yo, it's like, that's so long. 15 seconds, guys. 15 seconds. All right.
We were stressed. We thought owning a home was out of reach. But Rocket Mortgage answered all of our questions, made the process clear and shockingly simple. Before we knew it, we were holding the keys to our new home and felt a bit like heroes in our own story.
There we go. Holy shit, dude. You guys are killing it, man. Yo. Hold on. Yo. I'm just thinking, like, if I had to submit a read against you, I'd like, damn, I don't know if I'd beat you or not. Like, that was a good read.
We were stressed. We thought...
And I love, you're the first person to do this in these 10 auditions. Listen carefully.
We were stressed. We thought owning...
Did you catch that? You can see it here in the waveform, where every other take has like this clear delineation between those two sections there. And I just click on it. This one here was the accented one.
Stressed.
So that's just room tone. But like this one, everybody has a clear delineation between those two sentences. But she does not.
We were stressed. We thought...
You hear that? We were stressed. There's like you can hear the stress. You can hear the stress in the take. Yo. And it just led straight into this, which was so natural. Guys, there's a period here, but we don't always have to honor the punctuation. If you're in promo, yes, always honor the punctuation. In promo, you better acknowledge the period. But this is not promo, it's commercial. This sounds like a run-on sentence that somebody might say in real life. Like, dude, buying a home, dude, we were stressed. We had no idea what was going on. The people didn't call us back. All of those, if they were typed out, could have a period, but I didn't give a period in any of those texts. I didn't punctuate any of those. And she did the same thing here. She's like, we were stressed. We thought owning the home was out of reach, right?
We were stressed. We thought owning a home was out of reach.
Yeah, and it's like
Owning a home was...
And it's like owning a home was, and I can't think of what the fuck I want to say, just out of reach. Such a good take.
Was out of reach.
And some people don't like it, and they will say it in the specs. If it's a big audition, they'll say no vocal fry. But I think it just works here. It just makes it sound so real.
Was out of reach.
Out of reach. Like, I can't do it. But you hear the vocal fry there, right?
Out of reach.
Reach. It just makes it sound real.
The Rocket Mortgage.
Rocket Mortgage. If you hit Rocket and not Mortgage, it doesn't sound like the brand name. It sounds like, okay, so there's Pizza Mortgage, Apollo Mortgage, iPhone Mortgage, and Rocket Mortgage. You got to make sure that you hit both. It's Rocket Mortgage. That's the name, right? I'm sorry. It's not a big deal, but it's the brand name, so it kind of is a big deal.
Rocket Mortgage answered all of...
Whoa.
Rocket Mortgage.
Yo, you hear that? It's got like this, I have a hard time articulating when I get excited.
Thought owning a home was out of reach.
So you can hear like the projection.
We were stressed. We thought owning a home was out of reach.
We were stressed. We thought owning a home was out of reach. But Rocket Mortgage, you hear that? It's like she like leaned in and pulled back the projection, which just... God, that's a pro move, man.
Rocket Mortgage answered all of our questions.
Answered all of our questions. Not all of our questions. She kept the same kind of pulled in, drawn in tone. And this actually was feedback that was given to me by a casting director in a workshop I did, I think it was last year. When we have specs that call for a certain style, let's just say energetic, right? Now, let's imagine that this is an energetic read, and you say something like this. We were stressed. We thought owning a home was out of reach, but Rocket Mortgage answered... You hear how that can become a problem? Like, what happened? A trick to make the brand name stand out without, but Rocket Mortgage, and pausing like that. Instead of doing that, you can simply change the way you deliver the line. So, we were stressed. We thought owning a home was out of reach, but Rocket Mortgage... You see the difference there? But Rocket Mortgage. You can use that technique to your advantage, and you can actually switch it. We were stressed. We thought owning a home was out of reach. But Rocket Mortgage? You can play around with it in so many different ways. But that's such a pro move. My goodness.
Rocket Mortgage answered all of our questions, made the process clear.
I'm sorry.
And shockingly simple.
Yo, it's a perfect take. It's a perfect take.
Made the process clear and shockingly simple.
Made the process clear. Didn't give any word in that sentence more love than it needed. She didn't say made the process clear. Just made the process clear and shockingly simple. And just threw it away. Threw the shockingly simple away.
And shockingly simple.
Yeah, maybe pushed shocking a little bit there. And shockingly simple. But contextually it works. It works perfectly. Let me move down here.
Before we knew it, we were holding the keys to our new...
Hold on, I gotta get that bump out of there because it's bothering me.
Before we knew it, we were holding the keys to our new home.
It's a little announcer-y, but what I'm hearing, and I haven't even checked our pre-life yet, I don't even think I need to, but...
Before we knew it, we were holding the keys to our new home.
It sounds like she's hitting new home the same way that other people hit new, but it's different. And the reason why it's different is because I can hear a nod. And I don't know if she did it or not, but she said, and before we knew it, you can imagine, I don't know, I got my Burt's Bees again. She says, and before we knew it, we were holding the keys to our new home. It's like she's waving the keys, dangling them in front of me. We were holding the keys to our new home, as opposed to we were holding the keys to our new home. Like it's just the intention is different. And I can hear the intent. You can hear these things. If you can't hear what I'm talking about, listen to more commercials, like on TV. Listen to commercials. The intent, you can hear the nod.
We were holding the keys to our new home.
To our new home, like the bounce.
And felt a bit like heroes in our own story.
Hey, if I have to make a pick out of all the reads today, you win. You booked the job. That was an excellent, excellent take. My God. Things that, and I know I sound like I'm gushing too much about this one, but it's not every day that you get free feedback. And I hope everybody can benefit from this. Some of the things that she did that I want you to take away from this. A clear something happened before.
We were stressed. We thought owning a home was out of reach.
Okay. And should I look at a pre-life? I mean, what is a pre-life? Pre-life. My significant other and I live in an apartment complex. It's fine except for one thing. So basically loud neighbors. Everybody gets drunk and loud is bad. Oh my God. The interest rates where I live are very high and it makes buying a home extremely difficult. So to own our own home and to get away from those noisy neighbors would be a dream come true. But it wasn't really possible, that is, until Rocket Mortgage came along. She's talking to her sister-in-law, so specific, somebody close to her, sitting on her couch. Bro, and we're not calling y'all bro. Where? On the couch. Who? Sister-in-law. They have a close relationship, I'm assuming. And what is the conflict? They have loud neighbors. They're trying to get away. And now Rocket Mortgage is here to finally let them get out of this neighborhood into a new house. Listen and see if you can hear her talking on the couch.
We were stressed. Mm-hmm. We thought owning a home was out of reach.
I can imagine, if you imagine a couch and you're sitting next to each other, I can imagine her turn towards the other person and I don't know, maybe even a glass of wine or something. And you're just talking like this, maybe 2 feet between the two of you. And you just leaned in, you're like, we were stressed, and you can imagine that.
The Rocket Mortgage answered all of our questions, made the process clear and shockingly simple. Before we knew it, we were holding the keys to our new home. And felt a bit like heroes in our own story.
Anyways, the only thing I would say is too long. But if I were the casting director and I got to this first section here and I heard that first 2 sentences, my ears are already perked up. All right, because I can see, okay, it's 18 seconds, but hold, okay, there's something here. These are one of those cases where I can see a casting director saying, you know what? I'll take it. Because you can always speed somebody up and you can always slow somebody down, but you can't always get a great read out of somebody. And this is one of those cases where I think that the great read would supersede the fact that it's past 15 seconds. And they'd be like, yeah, we like her, but they may do like a callback audition. Hey, we loved your read, but they want to see if you can get another take under 15 seconds just to see if you can, in fact, give the same performance at a faster clip. You understand? So yeah, excellent job on that.